In the NFL, teamwork can make or break a dynasty. But behind closed doors, some of the biggest battles weren't fought against opposing teams, they were happening within the locker room. Today, we're diving deep into the rivalries and grudges that tore apart some of the NFL's most famous partnerships. These are the feuds you never saw coming, the hidden conflicts that almost destroyed entire franchises. So, how did they stay secret for so long? Let's find out. We'll kick things off with one of the most talked about rivalries, Randy Moss and Tom Brady. On the field, they looked unstoppable. Brady's precision passing and Moss's deep threat ability created one of the most feared offenses in NFL history. But behind that historic 2007 season, cracks were beginning to show in their relationship. While they dominated on game days, the friction between them was growing.
We are not finished! We are not finished!
The 2007 Patriots were nearly perfect. They finished the regular season undefeated. It's said that Randy Moss, one of the most dominant receivers of all time, often felt he wasn't being used to his full potential. After all, Moss was used to being the focal point of his offense, and playing second fiddle to Brady's game plan didn't sit well with him. In fact, those close to the team recall that Moss often felt that Brady's other receivers, particularly Wes Welker, were getting more attention. Brady, ever the perfectionist, was more focused on the team's success than any one player's stats. But for Moss, it felt personal. When Moss joined the Patriots, he was looking for redemption, a chance to prove he was still the best wide receiver in the league. And every game where he didn't get the ball enough only added to his frustration. But Moss and Brady weren't the only star players with hidden feuds. The tension between teammates doesn't always show on the field, it often builds in the locker room. And when you have multiple alpha personalities vying for leadership, egos can clash. Take, for instance, the notorious feud between Donovan McNab and Terrell Owens. Back in 2004, the Philadelphia Eagles were on the verge of greatness. McNab had been the Eagles' franchise quarterback for years, leading them to multiple NFC championship games, but always falling short of the Super Bowl. When Terrell Owens, one of the most talented but controversial receivers in NFL history, joined the team, it seemed like the missing piece. And for a while, it was McNab and Owens connected for 14 touchdowns during the regular season, and the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. But that's when things went south. What most people don't know is that Owens and McNab's relationship had been deteriorating throughout the season. Owens felt he wasn't getting enough credit for the Eagles' success, while McNab resented Owens for his growing influence in the locker room. By the time the Super Bowl came around, their rivalry was tearing the team apart from within.
Who would you want to fight? I said Donovan McNab. and I'm dead serious. Saying I'll knock him out.
While some rivalries, like Moss and Brady or McNab and Owens, have made headlines, there are others that remained hidden for years. Feuds that were so well concealed, even die-hard fans missed them. One of the most surprising rivalries came from within the Green Bay Packers, the tension between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. When Rodgers was drafted by the Packers in 2005, Favre was already a living legend in Green Bay. But instead of mentoring the young quarterback, Favre saw Rodgers as a threat. The two barely spoke during Rodgers' first few seasons, and Favre made it clear in interviews that he wasn't interested in training his replacement. So, how do these rivalries affect the game? For some teams, like the 2007 Patriots, the talent on the field was enough to overcome locker room tension. But for others, like the 2004 Eagles, those feuds took a toll. Owens was eventually suspended by the team, and the Eagles' dynasty never materialized. In Green Bay, the Favre-Rodgers rivalry may not have been explosive, but it kept the team in limbo for years as they transitioned from one legend to another. Behind every great NFL team, there are stories of rivalry and conflict that never make it to the headlines. And while fans may never see these battles play out on the field, they're happening every day behind closed doors. The real question is, how many more secret rivalries are still hidden in NFL locker rooms today? What do you think? Could some of these rivalries have cost their teams championships? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from the NFL's biggest stars.